My son-in-law pushed me off a ship, into the dark, freezing ocean, all to steal $23 million. And when they got home, convinced that I had drowned, convinced that their betrayal had erased me forever. I was waiting for them now. I know what you're thinking. That sounds shocking. Almost unbelievable. But isn't betrayal always like that? It never comes when you expect it. It never announces itself with a warning. It comes quietly, and then, all at once, it shoves you into the cold water. But let me ask you something, what if the betrayal doesn't come from a greedy son-in-law? What if it doesn't come from family at all? What if it comes from the very thing you trust most, your own body? Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to reveal may sound uncomfortable at first, but it could explain why so many people over 60 suddenly lose their strength, their independence, their ability to live the life they once enjoyed. And more importantly, I'll show you how to fight back, how to avoid being pushed overboard by something hidden inside you, because here's the truth, betrayal doesn't always come with knives, lies, or even a shove off a ship. Sometimes it comes in silence. Sometimes it comes in the form of swollen ankles you think are just age. Or the stiffness in your knees when you wake up in the morning. Or that moment when you feel dizzy after standing up, your vision blurring. For just a few seconds we dismiss these things. We shrug them off. We laugh and say, I'm just getting old. But is that really true? Or is it your body's way of betraying you, quietly, slowly, waiting until one day, it strikes in full force? Think back. How many times have you ignored the heaviness in your legs after walking just a short distance? How many times have you noticed that your shoes feel tighter by the end of the day, but you brushed it off as nothing? How many times have you been out of breath faster than you should be, but you told yourself it was normal? These are not coincidences. These are not harmless quirks of aging. These are the whispers of betrayal. And the most dangerous part? They don't scream at first. They whisper. They whisper until the day comes when you realize you can no longer walk as far, no longer climb the stairs without pain, no longer stand tall without feeling that crushing fatigue. And here's the shocking part, most people only realize the betrayal after it's too late. After the fall. After the diagnosis. After the hospital bed. But what if I told you that you don't have to wait for that moment? That unlike the man thrown overboard with no warning, you can see the push coming before it happens? You can spot the signs. You can take action. And you can turn the tide in your favor before the waters close over your head, because here's what nobody tells you, after 60, your body doesn't betray you all at once. It doesn't collapse in a single day. It chips away, piece by piece, in ways so subtle you barely notice. But if you know what to look for, the hidden signals, the silent warnings, you can stop it. You can take back control, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you. So don't turn away. Don't dismiss this as just another story. What I'm about to tell you could be the difference between living the next 10, 15, 20 years in pain, struggling with weakness, feeling trapped in your own body, or living with strength, mobility, and independence, because let me tell you, there is nothing worse than being betrayed by the very body you trusted to carry you through life. And if you think it can't happen to you, that's exactly when it already has begun. Stay with me. The warning signs are there. And once you learn to see them, you'll never be pushed overboard again. You see, the body doesn't betray you all at once. Just like no one expects a push from behind on a calm night at sea, the real danger comes quietly, silently, when you least expect it. That's how circulation problems, joint issues, and loss of mobility begin. They don't arrive with an explosion. They arrive with whispers. The first whisper might be in your legs. You've been on your feet for a few hours, and suddenly they feel heavy, as if you were carrying chains around your ankles. You tell yourself, it's nothing, I'm just tired. But the truth is, healthy legs don't betray you like that. Healthy circulation keeps your steps light, your movements fluid. That heaviness is a warning, your body's way of saying the blood isn't flowing the way it should. Another whisper is swelling. Maybe your shoes feel tighter at the end of the day. Maybe your socks leave a mark on your skin that lingers longer than it should. You laugh it off, saying, I must have eaten too much salt. But what if it's not the salt? What if it's your circulation slowing, your veins struggling, your heart pushing harder against resistance it never faced before? And then there's the tingling. That strange pins and needles sensation in your feet or hands. Sometimes it comes when you're sitting, sometimes when you wake up. You shake your leg, hoping it goes away. And maybe it does, for now. But what if that tingling is not just nerves? What if it's your blood flow weakening, your tissues screaming for oxygen they're not receiving? And what about the stiffness? You rise in the morning, and your knees feel locked, your hips ache, your back groans. You stretch, you move, and eventually it eases. So you tell yourself, that's just age. But is it? Or is it your joints whispering that the cushioning, the cartilage, the very foundation that keeps you mobile, is thinning day by day? These are the whispers. Small, subtle, easy to dismiss. But behind each one lies the same betrayal, your body. is preparing to shove you overboard, because here's the cruel truth. Nobody wakes up one morning suddenly unable to walk, suddenly trapped in pain. No, the signs were there long before. The shortness of breath when climbing stairs. The dizziness when standing. The fatigue that hits harder than it should after simple tasks, they were there. You just didn't listen, and that's how betrayal works. It never shouts in the beginning. It tests you with small lies, small cracks, small weaknesses. And if you ignore them, if you brush them aside, the betrayal grows stronger. Until one day, the push comes, sudden, merciless, and you find yourself drowning in problems you could have prevented. But let me ask you, have you felt any of these whispers lately? The swollen ankles, the tingling, the heavy legs, the aching joints? Have you brushed them off, thinking it was nothing? Because here's the truth, they are not nothing. They are the first cracks in the hull of your ship. And if you don't repair them now, the ocean will pour in. I say this not to scare you, but to wake you. To make you see what so many ignore. Because the people who protect their circulation, who strengthen their joints, who care for their mobility before it collapses, they are the ones who never get pushed into the ocean unprepared. And in the next part, I'll show you exactly why this betrayal happens. Why your body begins to weaken after 60, and what's really going on beneath the surface, in your blood, in your arteries, in your muscles, that turns whispers into a silent attack. So why does it happen? Why does the body, after decades of carrying you faithfully, suddenly begin to turn against you? Why does it feel like the very ship you trusted to keep you afloat is now letting in water through unseen cracks? The truth lies beneath the surface, in your blood, in your arteries, in your muscles and joints. And unless you understand this, the betrayal will catch you by surprise. Let's begin with circulation. Your heart has been pumping for more than 60 years without rest. Day and night, without pause. Think about that, more than 2 billion beats, every single one pushing blood through thousands of miles of vessels. But with time, those vessels begin to stiffen. Plaque builds silently. Arteries narrow. Veins lose their elasticity. And suddenly, the same pump that carried you through your youth struggles to deliver what your body needs. That's why your legs swell. That's why your ankles ache. That's why you feel heavy, tired, breathless. It's not just getting old. It's your circulation slowing down, like a ship losing the strength of its engine. And what about the joints? Those are another story of betrayal. When you were younger, cartilage cushioned every step, every bend, every twist. You didn't think twice about kneeling, running, lifting, turning. But cartilage wears down. Slowly, silently. By 60, most people have lost a significant portion of it. What's left is bone rubbing against bone. That stiffness in the morning, that ache after walking, that grinding sound in your knees, it's not random. It's your body showing you the betrayal of time. Then there are the muscles. Do you know that after 50, you lose about 1% of muscle mass every year, unless you fight to keep it? That means by 70, many people have lost nearly a quarter of the strength they once had. And muscles are not just for lifting. They're the anchors of balance, the protectors of joints, the support beams that keep you upright. When they weaken, your entire structure begins to wobble. That's when falls happen. That's when fractures occur. That's when independence is lost, and perhaps the cruelest betrayal of all is energy. Remember when you could climb stairs without gasping for breath? When you could walk long distances without fatigue? That spark fades not just because of age, but because mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside every cell, lose efficiency. They produce less energy. They leave you tired, drained, weak. Do you see the pattern? None of these betrayals scream at you. They whisper. They chip away. They hide in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. And here's the worst part: society tells you it's normal. That it's just aging. That you should accept the swelling, the stiffness, the fatigue as inevitable. But tell me, is it really normal to feel like a prisoner in your own body? Is it really normal to be pushed out of the life you love? Step by step, until you're left on the sidelines? No. It's not normal. It's betrayal, because while the body does change after 60, there are those who remain strong, mobile, independent well into their 70s, 80s, even 90s. What's the difference? They recognized the betrayal early. They acted before the whispers became shouts, and that's what I want for you. To open your eyes. To realize that your body is not failing overnight, but little by little. And if you catch it now, if you take action now, you can stop the push before it sends you into the water. In the next part, I'll share the stories of those who ignored the whispers, and paid the price, and those who listened, who acted, and who now live with strength others can only dream of. 2 paths. 2 very different endings. And the choice, believe it or not, is yours. Stories are powerful because they mirror our own lives. And when it comes to the body's betrayal, the difference between listening and ignoring can mean everything: independence or dependence, strength or weakness, life or decline. Let me tell you about George. He was 72, proud, stubborn. The kind of man who hated doctors. He had been feeling heaviness in his legs for years. Sometimes his ankles would swell so badly his shoes barely fit. His daughter begged him to check it out. "It's just age," he would reply with a shrug. "I'm fine." But he wasn't fine. One morning, George woke up and found he could barely stand. The pain in his calves was unbearable. He was rushed to the hospital, where doctors discovered severe blockages in his arteries. His circulation had been failing silently for years. The whispers had turned into a scream. By then, it was too late. Within weeks, George lost part of his independence. He now walks with a cane, each step a reminder of the betrayal he ignored. Now let me tell you about Mary. 68 years old, grandmother of 5, she started noticing tingling in her feet. At first, she dismissed it. But one day, while walking, she almost fell because her legs felt heavy and numb. Unlike George, she listened. She sought help, learned about circulation, made small changes, simple exercises, daily stretches, foods that support blood flow. Within months, the heaviness faded. At 70, Mary still walks to the park with her grandchildren, still climbs the stairs of her home without gasping, still feels in control of her body. Do you see the difference? Two people, same age, same warnings. One ignored them. The other listened. One lost mobility. The other preserved it. And here's another story. Robert, 75, strong all his life, never thought weakness would touch him. Then came the stiffness. His knees locked every morning. He laughed it off. "I'm old, what do you expect?" But one day, he slipped in the bathroom. His weakened muscles couldn't protect him. His brittle joints couldn't absorb the fall. A broken hip chained him to a bed for 6 months. And do you know what happens when you stop moving at that age? The decline accelerates. He aged 5 years and 6 months. Now compare him to Anna, 71, with the same morning stiffness. But instead of dismissing it, she acted. She stretched every day, took gentle walks, strengthened her muscles. It wasn't about being young again. It was about staying steady, mobile, strong. Today, Anna still dances at family weddings, still bends to pick flowers in her garden, still carries her groceries without fear of falling. Do you see the pattern? Betrayal is not instant. It gives warnings. The problem is not the whispers. The problem is ignoring them, because when you ignore the signals, when you let the body chip away without fighting back, one day the push comes. And by then, it's too late to grab the railing. You're already in the water, but when you listen, when you take action at the first signs, you turn the betrayal back on itself. You catch the hands reaching to shove you. You push back. And instead of sinking, you stand taller, stronger, steadier. So let me ask you, which story do you want to live? George or Mary? Robert or Anna? The choice seems small, paying attention to swollen ankles, stiff joints, heavy legs, but in truth, it's enormous. It's the choice between years of independence and years of dependence. Between being pushed overboard, or steering your own ship. And the good news? It's never too late to choose differently. In the next part, I'll reveal exactly what you can do, the habits, the small daily steps, the practical choices, to protect yourself from this betrayal. To strengthen your circulation, to guard your joints, to keep your muscles alive, because stories are powerful, but your story is still being written. So what can you do? What are the ropes you can grab before the push comes, before the betrayal strikes in full? The first truth you must understand is this: strength after 60 is not a matter of luck. It's not about good genetics or some secret medicine. It's about choices. Small choices. Daily choices, because the same way betrayal comes slowly, silently, step by step, your defense can also be built slowly, silently, one habit at a time. Let's talk about circulation. First, if blood is life, then circulation is your lifeline. Every cell in your body depends on it. And yet, most people ignore it until it's too late. But here's the secret: you can boost it. Right now, start with movement. Not hours at the gym. Not impossible routines. Just movement. 10 minutes of walking after meals. Gentle stretches in the morning. Lifting your heels up and down while standing at the sink. These small motions pump the calf muscles, the second heart of your body, that push blood back up from your legs to your heart. Ignore them, and blood stagnates. Do them, and circulation flows again. Then, hydration. Do you know how many older adults live in constant dehydration without realizing it? Blood thickens, pressure rises, oxygen delivery slows. A simple glass of water can be the difference between foggy thinking and clarity, between heaviness and lightness, and food. Yes, food is either medicine or poison. More greens, more berries, more foods rich in antioxidants and omega-3. Less processed salt, less sugar. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. Now, let's move to the joints. They are the hinges of your ship. Without them, you cannot bend, cannot walk, cannot climb. And they wear down when they are unused. The betrayal of stiffness is fueled by stillness. So move them daily. Gentle stretches. Controlled squats by holding onto a chair. Rotations of the shoulders, flexing of the ankles. Motion is lotion for the joints. Without it, the hinges rust. With it, they stay alive, and don't forget strength. Muscles are not vanity. They are survival. Every pound of muscle you protect is a shield against falls, against fractures, against decline. Resistance bands, light weights, even bodyweight exercises, they are not for the young, they are for the wise. For every year you keep your muscles alive, you add years of independence to your life, and finally, energy. That spark that so many believe is lost forever can be rekindled. It starts with sleep, deep, restorative sleep, not the restless tossing that leaves you weak in the morning. It starts with nutrition, protein to feed the muscles, vitamins to fuel the cells. It starts with oxygen, breathing deeply, expanding the lungs, reminding your body that life is still flowing inside. Do you see? None of this is extreme. None of this is out of reach. But the tragedy is that most people never begin. They wait for the big betrayal. They wait until the diagnosis, until the hospital bed, until the fall. Don't wait. Don't let the push come. Act now, because here's the secret no one tells you: it is not too late. At 60, 70, even 80, your body can fight back. Muscles respond. Circulation improves. Joints loosen. Energy rises. It is not about becoming young again. It is about becoming strong enough to stay standing when the push comes. And in the next part, I'll show you why this is not just about health. It's about life itself. About freedom. About dignity. About the power to live your own story, not as a victim of betrayal, but as the captain of your own ship. So here we are, at the end of the journey. And maybe, as you listen to this, you are asking yourself, where do I stand? Which path am I on? Am I the one ignoring the whispers, or am I the one who still has time to change? Let me tell you something important: the end is not written yet. The betrayal you feel in your body, the heaviness in your legs, the swelling in your ankles, the stiffness in your joints, the shortness of breath when you climb the stairs, none of it means you are finished. It means your body is speaking to you. It means the warning has come. And warnings, if answered, can save you, because yes, the body betrays. But the body also forgives. You can restore circulation. You can strengthen muscles. You can loosen joints. You can reignite energy. Not by magic. Not overnight. But step by step. Choice by choice. Day by day. Picture this: a man of 70 who can barely walk to the mailbox without pain. He thinks his life is over. But he decides to move anyway. 10 minutes a day. Then 15. He stretches, he drinks water, he eats better. Weeks pass. Months pass. And suddenly, he is not only walking to the mailbox, he is walking around the block. He is laughing again. He is alive again. Or the woman of 65 who feels her hands tingling every night. She thinks it's just aging. But she decides to pay attention. She makes changes. She strengthens her body. She fuels it better. And within months, the tingling fades. She is sewing again. Cooking again. Hugging again. This is not fantasy. This is reality for those who listen. For those who act. And maybe you think, but I am too far gone. My legs are too weak. My joints are too stiff. My energy is too low. No. That is the lie betrayal tells you. That is the voice of despair. The truth is this: if you are alive, your body is still listening. And if you are listening to me right now, it means you have the strength to begin. The question is not, can it be done? The question is, will you decide to do it? Because there are two futures waiting for you. I am the first: you give in. You let the whispers grow louder until they drown you. You let your body push you into the water. And once you're in, the fight is harder, the climb back almost impossible. That is the future of silence. The future of surrender. But in the second future, you take control. You fight back. You strengthen the engine of your heart, you oil the hinges of your joints, you rebuild the anchors of your muscles, you reignite the fire of your energy. You sail forward, not backward. You choose to be the captain of your ship, not the passenger thrown aside. And this choice is not tomorrow. It is not next week. It is not someday. It is now. Right now. In this moment, because every day you wait, the betrayal grows stronger. But every day you act, even with the smallest step, the betrayal grows weaker. So I ask you, which story will you live? The story of surrender, or the story of strength? And if you feel even a spark inside you, a whisper telling you, I can still fight, I can still change, I can still win, then do not let that spark die. Feed it. Protect it. Act on it, because the betrayal is real. But so is resilience. So is hope. So is strength. Now, before you go, I want you to make a decision. A small one. But powerful. If you listened until the end, if you felt this message. If you know you don't want to live the rest of your years as a victim of betrayal, then show it. Show it with action. Click on like right now, not for me, but for you, as a promise to yourself. A signal that you are choosing the path of strength, and then, subscribe. Because the story doesn't end here. Because you need reminders. You need truths, you need the constant fire that keeps you awake and aware. Subscription is not a button, it is a commitment to yourself. A promise that you will not fall asleep while betrayal whispers. Do it now. Do not wait. Because life is short. Time is precious. And strength is built by those who act when others delay. So I'll leave you with this final thought: age is not betrayal. Age is a test. And those who rise to it, those who refuse to let the whispers win, discover something powerful, that they are stronger, wiser, and more resilient than they ever imagined. Your ship is not sinking. It is waiting for you to take the wheel. Don't let the push define your story. Let your strength write the ending.